My name is Sofia, and you are listening to Sit Down with Sofia. Okay, fine. I clicked. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to my podcast. This is the second time I am recording this because the first time I recorded it and somehow I saved it the wrong way. And so I have to record it again. So I'm sitting in the room with my friend Megan.
Saw, dude.
She's not a part of the podcast. She just came over to chill, so she's gonna be the first live audience member. So she's sitting behind me. Told her I'm not gonna look at her because she's gonna make me laugh and she's gonna start talking to me. Anyways, so jumping right into things. This is my podcast. Thank you for listening. I have a couple questions lined up. I shot some stuff out on Instagram. I don't think I put anything on Twitter. And told people what are some things you want to know about my podcast or what's going on. And I got a couple people that replied. So I have some stuff of my own that I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to answer some questions. So first question I kind of got is, what is your podcast going to be? And this podcast, honestly, it's just random. I was trying to come up with a name, which now is Sit Down with Sofia. And this actually is kind of weird because this is the first time I'm kind of filming by myself, even though Megan's in the room. But all the other podcasts that I've already filmed. I keep saying filmed. It's recorded. All the other podcasts I've already recorded have been with somebody sitting across from me. So this is just me. I'm just riding solo. But in those, we didn't even have a name when I recorded those. So you'll kind of hear some of our banter back and forth trying to figure out what my name was going to be. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll record all these podcasts and then I'll figure out a name. I was like, these are so many different topics that I just was like, they can't fall under one name. So I was looking into Talk is Cheap, but unfortunately that was already taken. And it's a football podcast nonetheless. So it's already painful enough to watch football on your TV. And now you have to listen to football. So whatever. So I couldn't take that one. But Sit Down with Sofia was open. So I went ahead and went with that one. So that my podcast, all sorts of random stuff. We got a conspiracy theory podcast. I'm super excited for that one. I did one with my friend Julius from my church about kind of Christianity in the pop culture realm. So we did that one. And we have some other cool topics that are kind of in the works and whatnot. And so a lot of people have been hitting me up and be like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. How do I be on your podcast? Anybody can be on my podcast. You just got to pitch me a topic. It has to be of interest to moi. I have to be able to, speak on it as well. You got to be able to have conversation with me. I don't want somebody to just come in here and just kind of sit there and me ask questions or talk about a topic and then be like, ha ha ha, yeah. You got to be able to talk about it. So honestly, anything. That's why I kind of titled it Sit Down with Sofia. So come over, sit down, let's have a chat. Just reach out to me with whatever topic that you have that you want to talk about, and let's do it. I listen to a bunch of different podcasts that have just one topic. It's like health and fitness, or maybe it's a sermon, or they talk about pop culture. So really, honestly, anything you can think of, trying to stray away from mom blog type of audio recording. talks about babies and all that type of stuff. So, but anything else, I mean, nothing political as well, or anything having to do with that circle. But yeah, so if you have a topic, you want to be on my podcast, come be on my podcast. Hit me up and let's do it. So I'm going to answer some questions that I have, that I put out on Instagram. Some people will wrote me back. So one of my first questions I got is, how did media become a hobby of yours? And it's actually funny that Megan's with me in this room right now, because she's kind of part of it. So I'm currently a sophomore in college. But when I was a freshman last year, my friend Megan, she's kind of a fashion blogger, fashionista model in that realm, kind of doing different stuff like that. And she was doing a shoot. I don't know if it was for a portfolio. What was it for? Yeah. Portfolio. She's doing a shoot for a portfolio. And she was like, hey, I need somebody to take pictures of me. Do you want to take pictures of me? I'd never picked up like a serious camera like that. But I was like, I mean, sure, why not? So we went and did it. She edited the prints. I didn't edit them, but I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I started kind of doing a senior shoot with two different people at two different times. I did a family shoot. I've done prom photos, some action shots, a bunch of different stuff here and there. And so it kind of really started from there. I interned at my church's youth group after I graduated in 2017. And I kind of joined the youth group's media team, and we made some promos for the youth group, doing, I don't know, advertising like lock-ins and spring break and camp and fall retreat and all that fun stuff. And so I really got kind of involved into that then. I really wish that when I was in high school, I would have found this little niche, this little hobby I have of media and film and audio and all that stuff. Because we had academies, and I went to the business academy, but I'm pretty sure I had many friends that were in like the film academy, that I could have went in and taken some really good classes. Now I'm taking classes. But yeah, I wish I would have found this sooner. So if you are listening to this and you know me from high school and you're like, what the heck? She wasn't like that at all in high school. Like, it was pink and glitter and fun stuff. And yeah, surprise, I like this stuff and I'm good at it and I have the tools to do it, so why not? So that's kind of how media became a hobby for me. But I mean, in a sense, I think everybody has a hobby in media, hence the word social media. We all kind of have our own aesthetic. I guess everybody's into that on Instagram now. It all has to look the same and the same vibe and whatever. So I think everybody dabbles in it. It's just about kind of knowing how to, I don't even know, formulate it, mesh it together for the end product to be what you want it to be. Good quality. Another question I have kind of follows up with that one. Why don't you start a YouTube channel? Somebody asked me that. I have many people that have asked me that. For years, people have been like, you need to start a YouTube channel. And honestly, the biggest reason why I haven't started a YouTube channel is because it's a lot of work. So many people see this content on YouTube and they're like, wow, I can't believe these people have this as a job. They just get to sit down and make slime and do a challenge, and that's their job, and they get paid thousands upon thousands of dollars, and they all live in LA, and da, 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 and you just see the glamorous part of it. But really, I mean, what goes on behind the scenes is the actual quality that goes in to making these videos, whether it's lighting and audio and sound, and then following under YouTube's rules, sitting down and actually editing it, and so you have to know the editing software. So it's a lot more work than just sitting down and filming a video on how to make slime. And so that's one aspect of it. Number two, I feel like to be on YouTube, like, you have to have a thing at first. I know that a lot of the YouTubers that are out there now, they started back before YouTube was even a job and they could even make money doing it. And so now they're able to do, like, who's going to watch really a video of somebody do a not so interesting challenge if you don't really know who they are? Like, there's got to be some pull, some form of interest for them to want to watch that. And so I don't think my life is interesting enough to vlog it. And I do know that's a lot of work. I know I've joked about it in the past and picked up a camera and be like, haha, I'm vlogging. And I know I have a group of friends that we hang out with, that I hang out with from high school. And over the summers, I'll like bring my camera. I'll be like, ooh, look at me, I'm filming. And I've made like 2 videos. I have a ton of footage that's still stockpiled that I haven't done anything with. But yeah, but like it's a lot of work. I don't think my life is interesting enough to vlog. I don't have another like specific topic to kind of put my energy into a YouTube channel. So that's one thing. And then also, I mean, in the past years now I kind of know I had never picked up a camera before in my life. So, I mean, I really, like, even this podcast, I was just going to record on my phone, which is kind of sad. And so it kind of just, like, picked up and started just randomly in December. I messaged my friend Julius, who he's kind of, I call him my yes man. And he was just, I was kind of like, hey, should I start a podcast? And he was like, yeah, I have all this stuff. And then when I got back to Texas, he was like, oh my gosh, he was like, I've been waiting for somebody. I have all this equipment. I got a mic. I got a soundboard. I got all this stuff. And I was just telling my wife, like, I need something to do with this because I don't use it anymore. So voila, I have all this stuff that I was just going to film a podcast on my cell phone, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so I have all this really cool setup here. And so yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I didn't start a YouTube channel. Maybe if this leads into that, somewhere along the way, I'll get into that. Maybe I'll start filming the podcast, with a really cool setup. Right now, I am in my mom's office that is converted. Well, it was converted into an office. It was previously a garage. So I would need a cool setup. I don't really care for this setup. But yeah, so who knows? These will be posted on my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I want to get them on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and all that jazz. But I'm having some complications. So for now, it'll be on YouTube. And you'll just have to listen to it on that file. It'll also be on my website, which you can listen to it there. So yeah. So, I mean, in a way, yeah, sure, I have a YouTube channel. So there's that. Okay, so another question I have. How did you start working with JC Kalen's dad? I had multiple people ask me this question. His name, okay, he's not just JC Kalen's dad. He has a name. His name is Omar Castillo, but he goes by Cray Cray Rock. This is so weird, and him and I are actually just chatting about this tonight. Back about a year ago, like, I think Instagram stories had just become a thing, and I was like so into Snapchat that I was like boycotting Instagram stories. I was like, no, this is stupid. Like, that's what Snapchat is, and now all these platforms like Facebook and everything is like trying to become like that. Like, this is dumb. I'm not doing it. So, like, slowly over time, like, I would post something or like watch a story, and like, you know how if you click on the Instagram story, it'll like, you click on to like watch one person and it fades into whoever's like next to them, and then you just get in this downward spiral and you're watching like these ads for like cell phone covers. I don't know. But so I don't even know if I was watching. I don't know if I clicked his specifically. Never watched Instagram stories. Now I watch them all the time. Back then I didn't do it at all. I was always on Snapchat. Randomly just clicked JC's Instagram story, and he was saying, hey, my dad's starting a YouTube channel. If you live in Texas, you have film and video editing experience, and you're over 18 years old, DM him here on Instagram. And then he dropped his handle. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, I'm in Texas. I'm over 18 years old and I have experience in this field. Let's do something. So we chatted back and forth. He gave me his phone number. And it's been about a year. It's kind of still in the works. He's kind of been wanting to try and find what he wants to do. He also works a full-time job. So it's not just like YouTube is his only source of income and he's going to sit around. He has quite a following. I believe he has about 60,000 right now. So we've done some things a little bit here and there. So it's in the works. So we'll see what becomes of it. If you want to find him, I believe he's on Instagram as Cray Cray Rock. His Twitter is Cray Rock 1969, I think. And then I know his Twitter is Cray Cray Rock. So you can find him there. He's a really cool dude. Super funny, super hilarious. Really fun. And honestly, it was a 1 in a million chance. I mean, you know, I'm not doing it for any specific reason other than I thought it would be a great thing. I'm a firm believer. I love having little side hustles in my life and doing a lot of projects on the side. And I was like, you know what? Why not? This sounds like a great fun thing to do. So we're doing it. So expect some stuff coming out. I'll let you guys know when that stuff comes out. It'll be fun stuff. It'll be cool. Another question I got. multiple people again asked this one. Why were you in California? I know it probably was really weird because I graduated high school and I'm at ACC, hating my life, college for a year, and all of a sudden I'm in California, and I know I've said it a couple times. You're like, what? You're in California, you're in Texas. I do go to California every year at Christmas time and Thanksgiving because all of my family on both my mom and my dad's side live out there. But I was granted a fantastic opportunity. Since I was in like 8th grade, well, not even, backtrack even more, since I was elementary school, I've always had something I wanted to do as far as a profession, whether I wanted to be a teacher, an astronaut, or, I don't know, baker. I always had something I wanted to do. Well, most of middle school, I wanted to be a lawyer, which, to be honest, I really think I only got from watching TV, which I believe my sister used to watch a show. It's called Drop Dead Diva. That's where I think I got it from. So I saw, like, the glamorized part of being a lawyer, not all the hard-hitting stuff. But so 8th grade, somebody came to my middle school, and they were like, let's do a mock trial. So I did this mock trial. I can't even tell you what I did. That's how much I was so out of it. I had no idea what I was doing. All I remember is it was a lot of reading and that I had no idea what I was doing. I have some really cool pictures from it, though, from me and the other kids that did it. We kind of did like a Law and Order type pose. It was cool. But so I did that. We did this mock trial. It was actually broadcasted to the whole school. I would love to get that recording one day to see if I even knew what I was talking about, because right now I don't even know what I talked about. But yeah, so I did that. Right after it finished, I was like, I'm done with this. No, I don't want to be a lawyer. Too much reading, too much attention to detail. Can't not do it. But then me with my type A personality, I was like, great, now I have to find something to do with my life. What am I going to do? I'm 13 years old. Oh my gosh, I need to find a job. So I was like, just thinking here and there, like, gosh, what would I want to do? And back at the time, my best friend at the time, we would every Saturday be watching like Say Yes to the Dress and My Four Weddings and David Duterra and all those shows on TLC, all those wedding shows. Anything wedding or party, we were watching it. And I was like, why don't I become a wedding planner? And so from then on, since I was like 13 or 14 years old, I wanted to be an event planner. So I didn't really pursue that career path, I guess you could say, much when I was in high school, just because there was nothing really offered to me of that category. You kind of have to go more of like the business route, which is kind of what I've been doing. And so as soon as I graduated high school and I went to Austin Community College as a freshman, I was just so done with working minimum wage jobs. I was like, you know what? I'd rather be furthering myself in a career that I want to do versus, working these jobs that are not doing anything to my life. So I set out and I went on like Indeed. I know it's like a job search type place. I went on there, looked for some wedding jobs. I just, I pretty much just typed in like wedding jobs in Austin, wedding jobs in Round Rock, event planning agencies. I called, I emailed, I did everything I could do. I remember even one time I went on and acted as if I was a bride and then hoping that they would finally, it would grab their attention and they're like, oh, business. And then they get down to the comment sections and I was like, yo, like, I'm just looking for a job. I'm trying to get experience, da-da-da-da. Unfortunately, none of them count experience as me running a club in high school and planning some parties out of my home. So even though it was a great club, we planned some great banquets that were highly organized, and my parties that I threw throughout the year, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Christmas, were fantastic. But to them, that wasn't legitimate experience. So unfortunately, I never received one call or one email back. I'm sure after they got them, they were just like, oh, we don't have time for this. Which, honestly, I totally get it, because planning parties is a lot more than just what you see as the end product. So I was like, man, like, what do I do? Like, how do I need to march in there myself and just be like, hire me? Like, how do people get into this field? So I then remembered that somebody I know in California to my aunt, she works for a catering company, and she owns her, the catering company is DCLA, David Catering LA, and she kind of owns her own little wedding party planning business on the side, which is Weddings and Events by Cindy. So I called her up, and honestly, I talked to her and just told her what I was doing, what I was going through. She's like, well, you're doing everything right. So she kind of tried to help me out. So we were looking for stuff for like a couple months, and she couldn't find me anything as well. So finally, it was one day, it just dawned on me, and I was just like, what if I go out to California and intern for a semester or two? Proposed the idea to my mom, and she was like, awesome, sounds great. And so I asked my aunt, and within 2 weeks of last summer 2018, of me coming up with this idea, contacting my aunt, contacting other family that lives out there for me to be able to live with them, it was like set in stone. So it took like 2 weeks out of my summer, and all of a sudden, like, I'm moving to California for 5 or 6 months. So I did that. I went ahead and made the move out there. I told myself I was not going to have any expectations going out there, because I've done that many, many times in the past. I feel like when you set up expectations, you're just leaving room for disappointment to be disappointed. So I just told myself, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. And I prayed to God that it was what I wanted it to be, because honestly, I was like, I don't know what I would want to do besides plan parties for a living. It just doesn't work out, and it just doesn't appeal to me. Because I think in my mind, I'm like, every other job is boring. So why would you want to just do anything else but plan parties? So I went out there, and honestly, if anything, even if I had set expectations, it was 10 times more than I could have ever imagined. I mean, those of you that saw it, I'm sure were like, what? Those of you who like aren't in my personal circle are like, she just graduated high school in Round Rock, Texas, and now she's at like Rolls Royce and Bentley parties. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And it really was just because of the catering company I worked for. Freaking best food you'll ever have. Nobody at 19 years old is getting to go to events of that scale unless you are the child of somebody in that sort of industry. But it was honestly everything that you saw me post and more. I mean, to get to be around celebrities and people of that status and just get to experience, it was really the Hollywood experience. I guess we can put it that way. I mean, we did things from car launches and run-of-the-mill parties and weddings all the way to like multi-million-dollar mansion release parties. Not mansion, but multi-million-dollar. It was like, we went to San Diego, and it was like apartments that were going for millions of dollars to buy. Ridiculous money. But yeah, I mean, one of the first parties I went to was a Rolls Royce party, and it was at a $30 million mansion. Like, what the heck? Who gets to go into this $30 million mansion? It was the home of a celebrity fitness trainer. His name is Gunnar Peterson, I believe. And he trains people like Mark Wahlberg and Jennifer Lopez. And so he was really cool. I got to meet him. He was really sweet and nice. But there were all sorts of people around that party, and it was, I honestly wish it was one of my last, because it was just one of the best. But honestly, I would have been fine with just going out there and doing these little hunky-dory weddings, because I have a passion for it, and this is something that I want to do. So I'm so blessed and so grateful for everybody that helped me get out there. My brother and I drove straight 22 hours to California with my car, because we're crazy. And I just kind of paused my life for a short period of time, because I was like, this is an opportunity that, like, this is the chance of a lifetime. And I'm so thankful that everything lined up for me to be able to go there and really honestly chase my dreams. So I'm back home now, and that kind of the whole main thing of me going out there was I was gaining experience, right? So, I got a fantastic recommendation letter, and I'm going to be able to put that on my resume for the rest of my life, that I was at those events, and I have pictures and videos to prove it, and it's such a great experience. I honestly would not have traded that for anything in the world. So coming back here and working and being here now, I've already met with a couple event planners, and honestly, I told myself, a word of advice to anybody out there looking for a job in a particular field. If I learned anything from this whole process, stop calling and saying, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Like, I was like, you know what? If you just sit here and you write an email and you tell them everything that you can do, they're going to look at that and be like, I want this person. So that's what I did. I mean, I came back and I pretty much just emailed event planners and I was like, hey, this is me. This is my level of experience. I've done A, B, C, and D. Are you hiring? When can we meet? And within a couple days, if not a day or two, I got calls and messages back. When can you meet? Oh my gosh, this is such a great experience. How old are you? Wow. And so it's just like, put yourself out there. I think for so long I was like, oh, I'm so young and I don't have all this experience. And so like, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't think anybody's going to want to hire me. But my motto in life, honestly, is fake it till you make it. So, I mean, literally 99% of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so, I mean, what have you got to lose? Nothing. So, you don't get the job. You don't get the job. If they don't call you back, they don't call you back. But yeah, so that's why I was in California, for those of you asking. Time of my life. Yes, it kind of sucks coming back to Texas because there's no place like California. My cousin recently moved to England. She got married, and she was like, I love England, I love London, I love all the surrounding countries, but there is no place like California. And I love Texas. I mean, Texas forever, all that jazz, but there's no place like California. So my goal is to eventually be out there. And if anything, going to events I probably went to more events than weddings. Going to those events, because before I think I was more wedding planner over event planner. Now I think it's kind of swapped. And I kind of would rather do events more than weddings because, like I said, we were doing things all the way from corporate parties to car launches. So, I mean, it really comes full circle. I mean, you can do everything. A wedding is a wedding. Still love weddings. I think it's awesome. I love seeing people happy. That's one of the biggest reasons. I have a really big heart that I wanted to get into this industry. So that's why I was out there. I'm in California. Where I'm at right now in life, I am just going to ACC right now, which is Austin Community College. I'm currently a sophomore. I will be moving to College Station in the fall to attend A&M University. And yeah, I'll be over there doing that. So for right now, I'm right here. I'm not really doing much while I'm here. I'm just kind of working a couple side jobs, doing this little podcast. Yes, working with Omar, Cray Rock, kind of working out some of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, really just taking care of myself this year. Kind of made that a priority before I kind of make the move again and my life changes again. It's crazy. I don't think after graduating high school and you have so much stability, I think coming into college, I had this kind of idea that it was all going to be one thing. And now I'm literally just jumping around like every semester is changing. So who knows where I'm going to be in a year. Hopefully I'm still in College Station because I'm just really trying to finish this degree. Because unfortunately they don't have any degrees in event planning. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah, so this was just kind of the first podcast. Just kind of wanted to answer a couple questions and clear some things for people that are listening who aren't in my inner circle, really. And yeah, so that was that. I do have social media for this podcast. Obviously, if you're listening to this, if it's later in time, hopefully, fingers crossed, you're listening to it on like Spotify or iTunes or something like that. But right now, if you're listening to this, it's on YouTube. The YouTube channel is just under my name, Sofia Herrera, and unfortunately, it's not verified. So I don't know how difficult it's going to be to find it because I know I've looked up Sofia Herrera like channel and there's a ton. And I have to scroll like, of course, like the last page and it's got like my name on it. So I don't know. I'll see what I can do there. But if you're listening to this on there, it's on my website, which I unfortunately can't give you the plug for that. I think it's like, I don't know, if it's Sofia Herrera at Wix.com. Not really sure. But I made a Twitter for this Instagram for this podcast. Unfortunately, I couldn't get them all to be the same name because Twitter doesn't allow a certain amount of characters to be the username. So it's SDWS Podcast, and that's Twitter. And the Instagram is at Sit Down with Sofia. And then my personal social media, my Twitter is _Sofia_Herrera_. My Instagram is _Sofia Herrera_. And then my Snapchat is Sofia H1. That's a lot of plugs. I don't know if I'm going to do that at the end of every episode. Maybe if I'm putting them on YouTube, I'll just link everything in the description. But yeah, so this is my first podcast. Not really sure what this is going to be or where it's really going to go. I mean, it's up to God to, kind of take wherever he wants to. But yeah, I'm not trying to be anybody other than myself. I just thought this would be a really fun idea. I'm super excited for everything that I have coming up and all the podcast topics. And again, if you want to be on my podcast, reach out, pitch me a topic, and we will see what we can do. But I don't really have a slogan to end this podcast. I really kind of wish I did. Julius has kind of been hounding me. He's like, you need something to say. I can't really say anything along the lines of, be kind to one another, love others and be kind, because, that's, Ellen and, Harry Styles had that. So, I don't really know. I'll figure it out eventually. But other than that, this has been a Sit Down with Sophia podcast, and peace.